Because once you see Susan speak, you're like, I'm gonna do that. I want that. I wanna be like her. You could get up right after her and put her formula into practice like that. Now, is it gonna be perfect? Does it need some tweaking? Do you need to work with her every week to kind of work on your message and the language? Sure. But the formula, there is nobody more brilliant in teaching a speaking formula from stage than the master, Miss Susan Kerby. There's a hand held right there.
Somewhere.
And it's live. Speech is powerful. Speech is to persuade, to convert, and to compel. That's Ralph Waldo Emerson. Speech is powerful. So welcome to the power of speaking your truth. Because what we're doing here, and Angel, thank you for bringing us together, not just to learn about social media, or learn about media and podcasts and all that, but you're seeing us. You're seeing the power of each and every person in this room and their message, and that commitment to getting it out there, and getting it out there succinctly, and being able to be seen and heard, and all those things that we love, but we don't exactly know how to do for ourselves as well as Angel does for us. So thank you for that. And each of you are here today because you're committed to getting your message out to the world. And I just applaud your audacity, because it takes audacity to be someone who makes it your business to get your message out to the world. This is not the easy road. How many of you thought speaking might be the easy road? Good. I didn't think so. Because, there's easier ways to make money. You show up at corporate jobs, they actually pay you. Here, you don't do what you just show up, they still might not pay you. Like, you actually have to do something. That whole sales isn't my love language, yes. And you've taken on that job not because you applied for it, but because it was your calling. And I'm really clear that there's a gift we are to the world when we answer our calling. So thank you for being people who answer your call. And can I tell you why I'm so passionate about the power of speaking your truth? I love my life. You heard a little bit. I just came back from 2 weeks of flying around the Midwest with my husband in our Cessna 182. I'm one who loves adventure. My husband likes adventure as well. So just getting to Michigan was an adventure. We ended up stopping along the way because the generator wasn't actually generating power. So that was probably a good thing to stop and get handled on the ground, before you were not having instruments. So that was a miracle where you can find the guy who says yes he can, and yes it's Friday, and it's 2 o'clock, and yes you can overnight that piece, and yes he'll be here Saturday, and yes you can go on your way the next day. I'm like, awesome. So then we got to Michigan, but to get to Michigan, you had to kind of run around the bottom of Lake Michigan because the storms were coming in up this way, and the storms were coming in this way, and you're like, I think we can make it up in here. We land 30 minutes before the storms come across the lake onto Michigan. So you're like, it's glorious riding around in a Cessna 182, but it's also a little, challenging. And that piece of loving life, loving adventure, we went from there to Oshkosh. So we just flew straight across the lake. We put on our life vests because there are times when you're flying straight across Lake Michigan, you cannot glide to land, just in case. So we're like, okay. Now I said to my husband, I don't think every wife would be doing this, but I happen to love adventure, so that was all good with me. We went to Oshkosh. Oshkosh had 650,000 other pilots and flying enthusiasts that week, but we're there checking out what's going on in Oshkosh. We go from there to Iron Mountain, Michigan, where there are 66 of my family who I don't really know, but they are from 22 different states, and we get together and they create a whitewater rafting trip. So now we're going down class 4 rapids in a whitewater raft, and there's amazing footage of me almost falling out of the raft. It's a very frame by frame, as it's like, oh, there she goes. Like all 66 people who don't really know me go, oh, you're the one who almost fell. I'm like, that would be me. And my husband grabs me, pulls me back in the raft. I'm like, okay, lost the oar, but hey, the paddle is not so important as staying in the raft. And then we climb back up the hill to get back in the boat and do it again. And it's like, yes, this is fun. Okay, all of this to say, all the while of doing this, every Wednesday, 9:30 in the morning, Pacific time, I get on with my clients. And I get to do what I love to do. And what I tell them, as I'm sitting in Oshkosh in a car with airplanes flying overhead, and I'm going, sorry for the noise, this is just where I am, and I go, and I come to be with you because I know the difference A, it makes in your life and in the people you reach, but B, and more importantly to me, is I remember who I am every time I come. I don't get sucked into the whitewater rapids rafting, I don't get sucked into the airplane life, I get sucked into, oh, you're my people, I love this, I love being able to be here. So this kind of life is the life I've always wanted, the one where you can do what you want when you want, if you feel like it, it's convenient to you, oh, and by the way, do the work you love to do. So it wasn't always this way. I grew up trying to do what everybody else wanted, saying what everybody else wanted me to say, or what I thought they wanted me to say, and I mostly didn't even know what I wanted, let alone how do you live a life having what you wanted. I went to college. I graduated with a government economics degree out of Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine. I got to be very preppy for 4 years, and I walked out very disillusioned. I had taken government and economics because I thought if you're going to be in the business, you should know how the government works. If you're going to be in the government, you should know how the business works. We should figure this out. And I walked out going, none of them knows what works, and none of them are doing anything to make it work. So I don't even want to play. Well, that makes it hard to go get a job because I didn't want to do those jobs. And I really didn't like the job I had. So I ended up in transformational seminars. I ended up doing work with Landmark Education. And when I walked in there, what I saw was people who came in one way with a certain perspective, a certain way of doing things in life, a certain way of seeing things in life, and within like 2 weekends, they walked out with a whole new perspective and a whole new way of doing things. And that's way more interesting to me. And I ended up still with my little self-esteem of like, okay, they go, do you want to volunteer? I'm like, oh, I can volunteer. You know, how bad can that be? What are they gonna do, fire me? Good, go for it. And I kept getting asked to be in more and more in leadership, and I didn't really believe that in me, but I'm like, well, if you want me to be a leader and you don't want to pay me, I'm sure. You know, like, because I didn't really see what they saw in me. Fast forward 10 years, I led seminars for them. And eventually I started to see who I was and what I had the power to do. And that I led in front of 15,000 people, if you add up all the seminars I led for the 10 years. And I made offers at every session. So I made a lot of offers in my life. I've watched a lot of offers, and I'm actually really good at seeing what works and knowing what doesn't work. And what I love now is that I stepped out of that going, it's my time to speak, but I still didn't know what I was gonna speak about. So I ended up going to some speaker trainings because my bankruptcy attorney had told me that was a good idea because I needed to come up with something to make some money because the business we had was closing after 2008. So we're like, okay, new business, speaking. Yes, I'm gonna go to speaker trainings because you know what? There'll probably be somebody there hunting for speakers. They'll be looking for talent. And I'll go and get picked up by some corporate or somebody who wants me to speak for them. That is not what happens in speaker trainings, just in case you're interested. I did not know that, but it got me there. And while I'm there, I'm thinking, these people all seem to know what they want to talk about. They're not very good at it, but they seem to know what they want to talk about. And I thought, well, shoot, how can I make some money at this? I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I could sure help you be better. So I started to do speaker training. And I was doing it kind of temporarily because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to say. But in the meantime, I was actually having them be better. And the person who was coaching them, what they paid thousands of dollars to coach, every time he'd go to see one of my speakers take the stage, he had nothing more to say. And he looked at me and like, got there first. He's like, okay. So it was one of those, they started watching my speakers speak, and his wife would go, did you coach them? I'm like, yeah. She's like, huh. So I got what works and what doesn't work. What I didn't know is when I argued with God, I'm like, really? Speaker training, this is your big idea. This is what you want from me? And I heard, I'll bring you my messengers. You have to be good. Do you know how long I waited in my life to know what I was supposed to do with my life? How many counselors I've been to figure out what I wanted and what I was going to do? Do you think when I got the Almighty going, this is what you should do, I was excited? No. I was like, what? I have to be a speaker trainer? I went, okay, fine. And I still worked really hard at getting people in my room. Ultimately, I go, I'm tired, I'm done. I think it was 50, 51 maybe. I'm like, I'm tired, I'm old, I don't want to do this anymore. And they said, I told you I'll bring them, stop hunting them down. And I realized how much of our lives we spend hunting something down that's really designed to come to us. And that's my gift, is to help you shine your light and be who you're meant to be, so that you get the people you're to attract and that are meant to come to you. So I'm going to give you everything I can today in the time we have, so that you get to actually be who your best self is and create talks that have people going, I want that, by you shining your light. So imagine, actually I want you to say this with me. I'm going to say it first and you can say it with me. When I shine my light, my people find me. Okay, say that with me. When I shine my light, my people find me. All right, turn to the person next to you or back behind you and go, when I shine my light, my people find me. They do. Yes, they do. All right. So now imagine. Yes, you had 3. I understand you had to do that. It's good. Come on, Katie, we're on it. It's absolutely, and it's true. When you shine your light, your people get to find you. If you're going to not shine your light, they tell you, they say, this is a light of mine, hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine, right? Like you have to shine your light or you can't be seen. Okay, so imagine you've actually been shining your light. Now, there are those of you who've been shining your light already, so I'm not saying you haven't been, but imagine it might need a little turning up. What if even you are dim as compared to who you could be?
God help us all.
So, exactly, and he's on call, so we're good. So, but there's that brightness. Les Brown once told me when I was speaking on his stage, he said how great I had done. And then he said, and Susan, you can always better your best. So you can always better your best. You can always brighten your light. And there isn't anyone who's going to be, let me say it this way, the person who's going to be most disappointed you don't shine your light brighter is you. And if anybody has a problem with you shining your light too bright, too bad for them. And I pulled a card recently. It was a Angels and Saints card, and it was Christ, and it was miracles, of course, because that's how it is for me. I believe in miracles. Miracles happen for me. They happen all the time. And yet, in the card it said, it doesn't matter who you are, there's always miracles for you. And I thought it was maybe written for the people who thought, oh, I'm too low, there aren't enough miracles for me. But I heard it like, it doesn't matter that I got this amazing house that I now do my seminars out of. It doesn't matter that my house burned down and everything turned out really well for me. It doesn't matter that I've had miracles after miracles after miracles, even whether it's the generator getting replaced, right? I get more miracles. So you get more miracles. There's always more miracles. So imagine you've been shining your light. What miracles are coming your way? Who are you speaking to? Who are those audiences you go, oh, they called me. Like, you know, what if the Grand Canyon were calling you? Or your equivalent of the Grand Canyon calls you? Who are those people? So just take a moment and kind of vision. What stage are you on? Who are the people in the audience? You're making your offer. They're clamoring to work with you. They're throwing their credit cards at you. They come up to you after your offer and they say, thank you. That was the most heartfelt offer I've ever heard, and I am so thrilled to work with you. I can't wait to see what we do together. That's what my very first client got told after she was doing her talk. So look at where you are now. There's where you are now and where you want to be. There's always a gap, isn't there? One of the things I love about looking at where you want to be, it's always better than where you are now. So there's always a gap. There's always room to grow. So now, do you want to know my secrets on how you go from where you are now to where you want to be?
Yes.
You want to know?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you. All right, so this is how this works. I have a handout for you, and I'm going to go ahead and have Catherine pass this out for me while we're talking. This handout, oops,
No, I'm good.
okay, she's got it all figured out. So much for me to tell people what to do. Trust.
I reorganized it.
I got that. I was like, she knows how to do this. Why I'm handing you this is so A, you get to see the notes you're getting, okay? So you'll notice there's little pictures of me doing weird things. You will be doing all of those weird things with me in just a minute, and you will, by the end of this, know what I call the 10 steps to I want that. And people have been able to, after my 30-minute presentation, do a talk the next day and go, oh my God, this was so great, I could remember what came next. This is fabulous. I'm like, great. Okay, so let me just tell you, there is more to what you might say in those 10 steps than what's on there, and then more than I can tell you today. But I can also tell you that there is a 3-day event where I actually go further into this called Speak Your Truth, which will be coming, and you'll get to hear more about that. But for the moment, you will get enough that you could start. And as Angel said, there's another way we can do it where I've realized you need even more than that. So I have like a weekly thing you get to access because it's just, I used to think all my 30 years of knowledge you could get in like 10 minutes from me. I'm like, there, I'm done. Did you get it? Did we do that little mind melt thing? Then I found that wasn't actually true. So I have a couple ways we can do it, but in the meantime, I'm going to teach you these 10 steps. So I'm going to ask you to put your papers down, put your pens down, and everybody stand up. Find yourself a little space away from your desk, because this is a kinesthetic learning. This is a way of learning so that you don't have to have your notes in front of you, and we're just going to play. It's like Simon Says, in that you just do what I tell you to do. You do not have to ever say, Simon says. I will never say, Simon says. You don't have to do anything. Basically, I do it, you do it, and we go from there, okay? Everybody good? Okay. Everybody up. Step 1. Makes sense. 1. Put it to your eye. You connect. Eye to eye, soul to soul. So before you speak, you actually connect with your audience. Guess what? They love you for it. Everyone loves being seen. And you love them because they're actually sending love back to you because they really want you to be good too. So, step 1, connect eye to eye, soul to soul. Step 2, 2 questions, try it again. Say it with me. 2 questions or a quote. Okay. I know it's only a single quote, but hey. So 2 questions or a quote. So I started with Ralph Waldo Emerson. You could say, because I'm talking about speaking your truth, right? Who here wants to speak? Who here wants to powerfully speak your truth? Great, welcome to the power of speaking your truth, right? You could just do, or who here wants to speak powerfully? Let's do this. Who here wants to speak powerfully? Who here wants to speak powerfully your truth? Fact, so it's a who here wants with the cherry on top. Okay, it generally goes one right after the other. And guess what? It has to do with the thing you're offering at the end. It's so fun. Okay, so who here has a program name they like? What's a program name you like that you're selling? Go ahead.
Wow Hollywood.
Wow Hollywood. Who here wants to wow Hollywood? Who here wants to wow Hollywood in 90 days? Great, welcome to and at the end, guess what you're selling? A 90-day program to wow Hollywood. Awesome. Okay. This is like who's buried in Grant's tomb. Were you a kid? When you were a kid, did anybody ask you who's buried in Grant's tomb? Do you remember the answer? Grant. Okay, these are not hard questions. These are, I'm selling this thing at the end. We're going to talk about it all the way through, okay? So step 1, connect. Step 2, 2 questions or a quote having to do with the thing you're talking about. Okay, step 3, it looks like a W. See? See how it looks like a W? Welcome. You welcome them to the title of your talk. Welcome to the power of speaking your truth. I'm offering speaking your truth, but shh, don't tell anybody. But that's what I'm offering at the end. So it makes no sense that the talk is about the thing I'm offering. Oh my goodness. Okay, step 4. I need 2 hands with this, so hang on.
No.
Step 4. You send peace and love to your host and peace and love to your audience. Or if you want to go gangster instead of 60s, you can go, you acknowledge the host, you acknowledge the audience. Because this looks more like an A, right? So you acknowledge the host, you acknowledge the audience. Everybody say it with me. Acknowledge the host, acknowledge the audience. Okay, so step 1, connect. Step 2,
2 questions or a quote.
step 3,
Welcome.
step 4,
Acknowledge your host, acknowledge your audience.
exactly. Step 5. Oh, can I tell you why I'm so passionate about my talk title?
Yes.
Okay, this is that piece, yes. But you see, it's not, can I tell you why I love talking about something else? No. Can I tell you why I'm so passionate about the thing I call my talk? Can I tell you why I'm so passionate about the power of speaking your truth? Yes. Do you know how people get up here and say, can I tell you a little about myself? Do you know what you say? If you must. Okay, go ahead. I'll sit through it. Can I tell you why I'm so passionate about the thing that I'm wanting to share with you today? Yeah, I want to know why that is. These are not hard things, and it makes a huge difference in how people listen to you. Okay, step 1.
Always nice.
Step 2, 2 questions or a quote. Step 3, welcome. Step 4, acknowledge the audience. Step 5, can I tell you why? Everybody say it with me. Can I tell you why I'm so passionate about... Now everybody just say your own talk title. So, can I tell you why I'm so passionate about speaking your truth, the power of your speaking your truth? Okay, because I've had people say, can I tell you why I'm so passionate about this subject? Because that's what I used to tell you to do. And I'm like, no, you never say this subject. You say the actual subject. You say your talk title. So now, when I do this practice, I make you actually say your talk title, because then you'll go, oh, that's what I put there. Otherwise, people remember what I tell them. Okay, so step 1, connect. Step 2, 2 questions or quote. Step 3, welcome. Step 4, acknowledge the host, acknowledge the audience. Step 5, can I tell you why I'm so so passionate about? Fabulous. Step 6. Again, it's a two-handed one. I'm going to tell you the best things I have in the time we have allowed. I'm going to give you my best stuff in the time we have allowed. So say that with me. I'm going to give you my best stuff in the time we have allowed. And for those of you who know you want more, don't worry. I'm going to let you know how we can work together further. Okay, that's a mouthful. For those of you who know you want more, don't worry. I'm going to let you know how we can work together further. Okay. How many of you have a Stay Connect form? Okay, a Stay Connected form.
An opt-in for.
An opt-in, you know, like how do you stay? I know, but this is the thing. If there was in the day a Stay Connected form, so then you would say, I'm going to let you know how we can stay connected. Okay, then there's times you get one-on-one, like I'll let you know how you can have a one-on-one call with me. You say, I'll let you know how you can get some one-on-one time with me. If you're having, what do you have as a, you know, like Angel, you have them do the media kit, right? How many of you would, don't worry, I'm gonna let you know how you get a whole kit together. I'll make sure I put a whole kit together for you. Don't worry about it. You can actually tell them the thing you're about to give them. So don't worry, I'm gonna let you know how we can work together further. Step 6, oh that's not. Step 7, okay, how many know Chinese? Neither do I. But when you count to Chinese, somehow it ends up looking like this when you get to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They do it on one hand, okay? I just did this to make it look like a 7, because if you do that, then you'll make this 7. See how it looks like a 7? But somebody told me it was in Chinese, that's what it does. I'm like, oh, see? Okay, so now you put your 7 on your heart. That's 2 fingers, right? Then you have 5 fingers around this hand. Put them on that. So you cross your hand, put your hands on your heart. So you take 5 fingers on 7 finger, and 2 fingers, so you got 7 fingers. This is your core message. Core in Latin is heart. Core, it is your core message. This is that piece that if you don't believe it, you would not do the business you're in. And if they don't believe it, they would not pay you thousands of dollars. Guess what my core message is? When I shine my light, my people find me. See? And you know, if I believe when I shine my light, my people find me, then I should do this job. And if you believe when you shine your light, your people find you, you would want to work with me because I might be able to help you shine your light in a way that you haven't been shining your light, so that you have people coming up and running to you going, thank you for making that offer, that was so awesome, right? So that's the core message. Do you have your core message? Do you remember your core message, Catherine?
When I attract the best customers when I ask the best questions.
Yes. And I think it's when I ask the best questions, I get the best clients, or something like that. But yes. Anybody else remember the core messages from work? Yes.
When I share my story, I change lives.
When I share my story, I change lives. Because that she has to believe that for her scriptwriters, and her scriptwriters have to believe that, yes? Okay, so do you remember your core message?
Your voice can vibrate the world.
Yes. Everybody say that with me. Your voice can vibrate the world. Now just notice, our Miss Friend Whoop-de-Doo did not want to say, my voice vibrates the world. But then notice when I asked you to say it, whose voice vibrates the world? Mine. Because you were telling me that your voice vibrates the world, and I'm like, yes, it does. But the core message gets said in an I statement on purpose. My voice vibrates the world. Say that with me. My voice vibrates the world. Do you see how that's different when you say my voice than when you tell me your voice? So, missy. Okay, so everybody wants to do that because they want it to be about them, but you have to start with it being about you. Because in a minute you're going to ask them to say it, and it's way more powerful when they say it for themselves than when you tell them about it. When I shine my light, my people find me. Yes, they do. Okay, so now, you know your core message, so we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we're on to 8. 8, you become a traffic cop. 4 fingers over here, 4 fingers over here. So this is, okay, who's my NLP people? Which is the future side? Which is future? Okay, we don't have enough NLP people, that's fine, I'll just do it this way. You imagine you've been living that core message for a year now. Say I had a year-long program. So you'd say, imagine you've been shining your light for a year. What does that look like? Now, there are people in this room who might go, I'm already shining my light. So I had to kind of distinguish that there's always more light to shine, yes? So if you have a core message where people go, oh yeah, I'm already doing that. It's like, really? Let's see, how much more could you turn that up, right? Because you want them to vision the who, how much, what would that be like if I were dreaming, if I were really living my best life, if I were really living, shining my light, what would that look like? Wah, 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 sucks to be you. Okay, right? So it is always this piece. Yes, like wherever you are, this vision is grand, and wherever you are now, it's just not as grand as where you want to be. I used to be told you had to sell the problem, and then you build the solution. Do you know how hard it is to tell people that what they're doing is wrong, or they're not doing it well enough? Especially when you're on someone's stage like Angels, who's just taught you all these great things and how you're gonna do it, and I'm gonna tell you your messaging sucks. No, that would be upsetting to Angel and to you and not true. But when I have you build your future, and you imagine this future of so bright, wherever you are, it's not where you wanna be. So you start with the end, you start with the like building the dream, and then wherever you are, it's like there's a gap. You want to know my secrets?
You want to know my secret?
Okay, so you have 5 fingers on this hand, 4 fingers on that hand, and it makes a 9. And then you go, you want to know my secrets? How to get from where you are now to where you want to be? So, you want to know my secrets? And you all said yes, and that's why you're standing up doing all this silly stuff. Okay, but the best thing is, number 10. This is the best part. Number 10, this is the best part. I have an offer. I have an offer. Yeah! That's what everything's building up to, right? If you help them in this talk, and they, like, if you walk away thinking you've gotten everything out of me for 30 years in this, that's like, okay, you can do something with that. It's not the same as knowing what your core message is and hearing my voice, hearing your voice, and like that. So you have to let them know there's more. Otherwise, you're actually being really stingy and keeping your gifts. It's like if you didn't make an offer, it's like you showed up at the birthday party carrying the gift, eating the food, talking to people, and leaving with your gift on your arm. So I tell you, yes, stop being rude and make your offer. So your offer is the best part. Okay, so we're gonna do it all together. Step 1, connect. Step 2,
Questions or quotes?
Step 3, Step 4, Step 5. Ooh, can I tell you why? Do you guys remember Arnold Horshack in Welcome Back, Kotter? Ooh, Mr. Kotter, pick me, ooh, right? So that's it. Ooh, can I tell you why I'm so passionate about? Thank you very much. Okay. I'm going to give you my best stuff in the time I have, and for those of you who know you might want more, don't worry. I'm going to let you know how we can work together further. Notice how I'm not talking to the people who don't know they want more. So they're not worried. But the people who do think, oh crap, I'm going to need more from her, they might be worried. So you're not talking to and upsetting anybody, because you're just like, for those of you who already know you might want more, don't worry. And everyone else is like, that's not me. But they might be them by the end, but just saying. Okay, so that is step 6. Step 7, core message. Step 8, Imagine you've been living that core message, right? Imagine you've been vibrating, your voice has been vibrating the world. Imagine you've been asking the right questions, getting the best clients. Imagine, remind me, your story.
That you want it, that you're wowing Hollywood.
Oh my,
Say it that way, I don't know.
no, but the core message.
That when you share your story, you change lives.
Imagine you've been sharing your story and changing lives. Okay, now where are you now? Wah, 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 right? Not as good. Do you want to know my secrets? How you go from where you are now to where you want to be? Then you tell them your secrets. And then you go, I have an offer. Okay, great, congratulations, you now know the 10 steps to I want that, and you may sit down. All right, so it's part of that repetition, it's part of the kinesthetic, it's part of all the things, and it's part of really, I spent a lot of time figuring out why that next thing comes next. Because I learned this formula. Like I'm not the one who invented this, it's gone around the world, it's been in a lot of speaker training programs. But if you don't know why the next thing comes next, you will never remember what comes next. So I actually sat down and tried to figure out, well, why would I go there next? So like when you're telling your step 5, your hero's journey story, right? Your why you're so passionate, the short version is, I am where you want to be. Some of you might want a life where you're flying around the world. Some of you might go be like, I'm not in that airplane, I'm good. But either way, it's still kind of a cool life. I was where you are now. Now, not all of you are there right now. Some of you may have been through bankruptcy at some point in time. Some of you have been, but I've been where you have to start again. I did these things I'm about to tell you to do. Like I went to speaker trainings and I started to learn things, and then I figured out what my message was, and we did that. And now I'm blessed that I get to contribute this to people, right? That's that hero's journey. Well, how does that get you to I'm gonna give you the best stuff? Oh, I'm blessed, I have all this to give, and I get to give this to people, so I'm gonna give you my best stuff today. And for those of you who know you want more, don't worry. Like there is an arc, there is a reason that transition goes to this piece. Why that all goes through, it makes sense. So anyway, that's the pieces, so you can know what comes next and you can hopefully remember. And you might recognize some of my clients when you see them going, can I tell you why I'm so passionate about this? I'm gonna give you my best stuff, and don't worry. Like, there are hand motions that luckily aren't too stupid when you're up there doing them. I've yet to see anyone go, okay, so there's some of these they just skip. But somehow when they get to 5, they go, can I tell you why I'm so passionate about, and they start doing these little motions, and even kind of, can I tell you my secret? So it's all that piece that allows you to go, because you're in the adrenaline, you're in that piece of how do I remember what comes next? And you're like, oh yeah, it's time for my secrets. So here we are. I have an offer. Okay, this is the best part. Okay, Catherine, if you would be ready to pass that out, you can actually go ahead and pass that out. And I've got a few things on this sheet, because I know it works, not everything works for everyone, and there's different ways you can participate. So there's a way of participating on this sheet that several of the people from that I met in New Orleans a few months ago have been in what I call my Speak membership program. It's called Speak Stage Time Spotlight. It's where we've been meeting weekly, and the way it works is the coaching happens every other week, or actually twice a month for you, and the classes happen every Wednesday, and the coaching is guaranteed twice a month. Oh yeah, here's one right here. Thanks. You get guaranteed coaching twice a month, and if there's enough room on the call, you might get it more often. Depending, I need to make room for that more people are coming on. And it's awesome to listen to other people's questions, because not only do you get clarity on their piece, what's amazing to me is, as I said, one of my people, they came up and they go, okay, I'm gonna test out the 10 steps. I'm like, great. And when he got to the part, and can I tell you why I'm so passionate about the subject? And he just kept going. He did not actually tell us why he was passionate about anything, and he just kept steamrolling through. I'm like, okay, I need to give people a little more guidance than they got in this moment. So I've also created a monthly call where I'm going to review the 10 steps each month and actually get to answer the questions about the depth of each of them. So what I told you today, I will be writing a book, and yes, there's more to say about all of them, and about why you say it, and how you say the acknowledgement. How you say the acknowledgement is so key. Did you notice most people say, thank you for having me on your stage, I know it's really valuable? Okay. But when I acknowledge Angel for putting this together and seeing us and being seen and championing us, you're like, yeah, she's cool and I like her. And because I like who you like, because you're in her room, you're like, she's okay, because she gets how great Angel is. Do you see how it buys me something? And it's the truth. And then when I acknowledge you, I don't go, thank you for your time. You could be a lot of places. It really shows your commitment. You could be here. That's what I was taught to say. I said, thank you for having the audacity to make it your business to get the message out to the world. And you're here because you're called. You know, if you don't feel you're called and you don't feel like you did this because you're called, you're not my people. So I'm okay if you don't think you're called. But you know, when I tell you you're called and you go, I am, all of a sudden Dad's like, I gotta write a book. I'm here because my family tells me I need to write a book. He didn't know he was called, but he's like, I am, right? So you want to acknowledge people for that. So anyway, that's all the kind of things that happens on the weekly calls, and will be happening more in depth in that once a month call with me. So you can't get private time with me without thousands of dollars. This is like how we can help as many people as we can going along. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, absolutely, we can do that. That's not a problem. But the other piece you'll see on here, it says, help, I've got a talk coming up. Guess why I named that my home study is help, I've got a talk coming up. Because that's the thing, when Angel says, people come up to you all the time, they go, help, I've got a talk coming up. I really need your help. I'm like, that's good, but I don't really have time to deal with you right now, but I have this program. It's called Help, I've Got a Talk Coming Up. Perfect, that's just what I need. I'm like, yes, it is. And guess what? It teaches them the 10 steps. I want that. And you get video of me actually doing this. So at any point in time, at midnight, 2 a.m., you're still struggling with, what did she tell me to say in step 5? You can actually go and watch me tell you what to say at step 5 all over again. So it's not an in-depth home study like you have to really work. It's just like, how do I get to see that again? Hit replay, and guess what? It's set up where you can actually just see, if you want to know what I said at step 3, you just go to step 3. If you want to know what I said at step 10, you just go to step 10. This is not like, oh my God, I have to watch the whole 20 minutes, okay? And it's a whole 20 minutes, so it's not really that. But that's the 247 home study. The Speak Your Truth, or the Speak Stage Time Spotlight, that's $197 per month. It's actually a monthly membership. And you get that, the community, which is awesome. What else is on there is my Speak Your Truth program. Isn't that funny that it's Speak Your Truth? Can you imagine I have a program called Speak Your Truth? So it's a 3-day event, and for those of you who don't want to travel, not that there's anybody in this room who won't travel, but there is a virtual version. And for those of you who are willing to get on an airplane, get out to Scottsdale, get out to one of the really fabulous hotels our dear friend Angel said she started hosting events at, called the McCormick in Scottsdale. And you can come out and be with another group of this fabulous people, because half the people in this room, or all, a few of them anyway, are coming to my event already. And we'd love to have you speaking your truth and getting 3 days of really you getting practice on stage. Because this is that part. If you don't hold your mic and you don't stand up, if you stand on my stage and you stand back here, you just won't after you've been on my stage. You'll be like, oh, I'm up here, okay, good. So we just get you up on stage. And there are some of you who've been doing this a long time, let me share, Dr. Wendy was here with me last February, and she just saw this kind of wild thing you just went through, and she goes, okay, I'll give her a shot. And she signed up for my Speak program, never having done anything else with me. And I have the wrong paper. This is what she said. She goes, being in the Speak community has made a difference. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on the speaking thing. She's a Bill Walsh grad. And I ended up not getting my sass revealed. I am just more comfortable when I now know what I'm speaking about and who I'm speaking to, and I no longer have a PowerPoint. When I saw Wendy up here before, it was PowerPoint, 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 and she was giving me all the facts, but there was no Wendy. And now she's got her sass, and she's doing her Dr. Wendy thing, and she got invited up to speak at a Bill Walsh lunch, and she said even Bill Walsh knew she wasn't speaking the way she was speaking when he trained her. She's like, nice, what you're doing is good, you know. So just want you to know, even if you're already speaking and you're already powerful, there's work to be done that can bring out who you are meant to be. And with that, I say thank you very much. Thanks for giving me the time. You can clearly, I can talk for 3 days. I will turn it back over to Angel. Thank you so much.